Greetings, everybody. It's great to see all of you coming in to the Zoom room this morning here in New York. And we wanted to welcome you to our information session for the New York Wine and Grape Foundation's export program activities in the Japanese market. I am Val Venezia Ross. I'm the staff member here at the New York Wine and Grape Foundation. That's just one part of the team, along with our management partners at Bryant Christie International on the line here, and our in-market representatives in Japan and across the world who work to support you every day through this program. And speaking of the export program, it is a long-standing and important marketing program at the New York Wine and Grape Foundation that's really helped us put New York wines top of mind for trade, media, and consumers in key markets globally, and certainly even here in the US. In fact, the program's been running since 1993, and it is made entirely possible with funding support from the USDA's Foreign Agricultural Service. And that funding, along with the help and support that we get from the local attachés and the agricultural counselors in each market, are a really important part of our program, and we truly appreciate all of their support. And today I am introducing just a few members of the team that are leading our targeted efforts for sales and brand recognition in Japan. Many of you joining us know them by name and have met them before even. We're glad to get a chance to get reacquainted with them today, and for you who have not met them to virtually do so today. So for over 3 years now, the foundation's been working with Bryant Christie International. And Bryant Christie is a marketing development firm that works with agricultural groups like ours all across the United States who are looking to expand their international sales and brand recognition. So I just wanted to welcome Tamara Thorberg to say a few words, if she'd like, for the group.
Sure. Thanks so much, Val. Yes, we've been delighted to partner with the New York Wine and Grape Foundation since 2020 to help them manage their export program strategy and implement our activities all over the world. We help to work with all our target market, in-market representation agencies in Japan, Canada, Asia Pacific, and Western Europe. And we are very excited to have Asahi Agency on the line today. We've been working with them for the past 2 years. Then thrilled to have boots on the ground in the Japan market. As all of you know, it's a very relationship-driven market, so it's important to have a consistent presence there, promoting New York wines to importers, trade, media, and our local ATO offices. And they've been doing some great work in the Japan market over the past couple years, a mix of in-person and virtual events, even a trade mission to Tokyo earlier this year. So we're very thrilled to have Akiko and Beppu-san on the line today. I think they'll be giving an overview of the target market, some recent market developments, and going over some of the plans we have for the upcoming year. So I would love to turn it over to Akiko at this point to start her presentation. Thanks so much.
Oh, Mara, can I interrupt one quick second?
Sorry, yes.
Akiko, I'm sorry to interrupt you as well. I just wanted to remind folks, because I know that many of them have joined us on these before, and it's usually a different style, but we really want everyone who's here live to ask as many questions as possible. Hopefully that's okay with Akiko and Beppu-san. They appreciate those. And if you're here live, this is now the time to ask. So feel free to send in any questions that you have through the chat feature or the Q&A tool at the bottom of your screen. And Tamara and her colleague Nigel and I will make sure that those are answered if and when it is possible to stop during the duration of this webinar. So I apologize for the interruption. Akiko, I'm happy to turn it over to you. Thank you.
Thank you for the introduction. Welcome to the Japan market overview. My name is Akiko. We're Asahi Agency, your in-market representative for the Japan market. Today, we would like to talk to you about the characteristics of the Japan wine market and how attractive it is as a market for New York wines. I'm the project manager, and I would like to also introduce you to Takenori Beppu, who is our wine specialist. So Takenori Beppu is a sommelier certified by the Japan Sommelier Association and also a WSET Diploma holder. He's an established educator and in training to become the best New York wine educator for us. And he is also a wine marketer and wine writer. He has deep knowledge of global and domestic wine regions and also knowledge of the Japan wine industry. So he also has great relationship with the top wine professionals in Japan, including existing and potential importers for New York wines. So we encourage you to reach out to us for any questions or advice during this webinar, of course, or afterwards, anytime during the year for promoting your wines in the Japan market. So first, we will start by explaining the market landscape and trends of Japan, followed by an introduction of activity plans for this program year. So Japan has a population of approximately 125 million, and the personal consumption of wine is 3.2 liters, which is around the global average. The average consumption of wine in Japan has risen slowly, tripling in these 30 years. Traditionally, Japan had no culture of drinking wine. However, as of today, we can say that it has become a pervasive culture. Japan is the third largest economy in the world, as you know, and we have harsh competition in the wine market. Almost all the wines from around the world are distributed in Japan. One of the reasons for the unique wine industry is due to the presence of the Japan Sommelier Association, which has over 50 years of history and their own diploma system. It is an organization of over 39,000 members, and it plays an important role in wine education. So the Japanese really love to study and acquire qualification for wines. Around 4,000 to 5,000 people take the qualification exam every year. Japan wine professionals have a strong interest in new and rare wine regions and also grape varieties. So we often hear from wine producers of other countries and regions that they're surprised to receive very detailed questions and comments at seminars or tastings in Japan, or when they visit the wineries. On the other hand, points by wine critics are not considered that important compared to other countries. And competitors are not only wines, as the Japan alcohol market is quite sophisticated. Traditionally, we have sake and Japanese distilled spirits, shochu, which is consumed regularly. Of this one, however, it is beer and ready-to-drink RTDs that account for more than half of Japan's alcohol consumption. RTDs have grown significantly in the recent years, and wine accounts for only around 4% of the total wine alcohol consumption. And of this wine consumption, a large portion comes from low-priced wines sold in supermarkets, discount stores, and convenience stores. So the market size for premium value-added wines, which New York wines would be, is currently limited, and various countries and regions are competing to gain presence. So from here, I hand it over to Takenori.
Thank you very much, Akiko-san. Today, from my side, I would like to talk briefly about the wine market in Japan. Most New York wines are in the mid-priced to premium price range when imported to Japan, so I will focus on price range in particular here. So first of all, here is the graph of the status of major wine imports by country over the past 5 years. Last year, we broke away from the impact of COVID-19 and had imports exceeding 2019 in value. As you can see, French wines that account for about 40% of Japan's wine imports by value, but USA also has a certain presence with about 7% and the third largest import value. The slight upward trend in U.S. wine appears to be related to the growing popularity of premium priced wines in Japanese market over the past few years. Most American wines in Japan are California wines. And if you look at the average price, you can see California wines have been successful at the premium price range in Japanese market. This is not to say that there are no low-priced California wines, but many are caught in competition with Chile, Australia, and other countries. On the other hand, the popularity of higher-priced wines with strong brands, such as Napa Valley, is still going strong. Also, it is difficult to generalize about French wines in Japan because of the variety of wines imported. But premium wines from Burgundy, Bordeaux, and the Champagne remain popular regardless of price. Also in Japan, sparkling wine is rising in both sales volume and sales value. As you can see, French is by far the strongest market in terms of value. And for Champagne in particular, it is the third largest market in the world. Conversely, other sparkling wines in the premium price range are not almost successful in Japan. With the exception of English sparkling, which is gradually increasing its presence, although it is not yet represented in the graph. A new and distinct trend is the growing popularity of wines from countries and regions previously little known for their wines. Most of the top 10 importing countries, including the US, have been flat or declining over the past decade, while many of the lesser countries have more than doubled in imports. Examples include Portugal, Austria, Bulgaria, Slovenia, Romania, Georgia, Moldova, Greece, and Israel, as shown here. One reason for this trend is the improved quality of wine from these countries, but another is the rising prices and the shortage of wines from famous regions. Burgundy and Champagne, in particular, are regions that have been very affected in the last few years. They are still popular, but we are often driven by the need to find alternatives. Personally, I feel that one of these trends of attention to new regions is towards the New York wines. One of the best things about this region is that it's a cool climate region and has low alcohol content. For many Japanese, alcohol levels such as 14% or more are often perceived as too high. The last important trend I would like to mention is Japanese wine. Wine production in Japan has a history of about 140 years, but due to problems with rainfall and the humidity when growing grapes, it has long been possible to produce only inferior quality wines. However, technological improvements, familiarity with domestically produced products, and the ease of visiting wineries have made this category the most booming in the past decade. In line with this, legislation was passed in 2018, and now there are over 400 wineries spread across Japan. Japanese wines have a soft, delicate flavor due to their climatic conditions and were once thought to be simple. The popularity of Japanese wines can also be attributed to the shift in Japanese tastes from full-bodied wines to elegant wines. In addition, vinifera varieties have long been difficult to grow in Japan, and Robusta varieties such as Niagara, Concord, and Delaware have been widely used in winemaking. I feel that more and more people are becoming interested in New York wines from this perspective. So thank you very much. Now I would like to return it, Akiko-san.
Okay, so thank you. We received a question in the Q&A, so can I also answer it already here, do you think? Yeah. Okay, so we had a question if the 3.2 liter per capita, does it include sake consumption? And 3.2 liter approximately per capita is just for the wines. So you can see that the Japanese consume a lot of alcohol in general, but the wine consumption is kind of not that high compared to, we have a lot of competition in other alcohol beverages. If you have any other questions, please feel free to pop it in the Q&A, and we would be happy to answer. So based on the market information and also the data that we just presented to you, we presented to you a SWOT analysis of New York wines in Japan. The biggest and basic advantage is that every Japanese of wine drinking age knows New York, of course, and New York has a premium high quality image, which is a great advantage in promoting New York wines. However, of course, the image is New York City, and it is not really known that wine is made in the state of New York. Another advantage is the familiar grape varieties. Riesling, Chardonnay, Merlot, and Cabernet Franc are familiar among Japanese wine lovers. And also, as Takenori just mentioned, Labrusca varieties are well recognized grape varieties for Japan wine. Also, the diversity in wine styles and grape varieties are a great strength. On the other hand, the low recognition of New York as a wine region is a challenge. We still have to explain that New York is a big state and it has beautiful places with a lot of agriculture and grape growing. Also, with the tough competition in the budget price range, for example, in supermarkets, we consider it difficult for New York wines to compete in that range, although it's not really necessary to compete in that range. The biggest challenge is the shipment issue. With no LCL reefer options, the importer needs to consolidate shipments to create a container or ship by air. This either makes the order lots larger than the ideal or affects the retail prices. And also with the raise of freight costs, it's becoming even more challenging, especially for new importers to add New York wines to their portfolio. Also, the strong dollar and the weak yen, as we are seeing again these few days, is making it difficult for importers to consider to add or increase US wines in general to their portfolio in the short term. Opportunities, wines from the cool climate regions is attracting attention in Japan as well. And also, as mentioned previously, Japanese cuisine is traditionally delicate, using less oils or animal fats. Therefore, it does not match full-bodied wines or wines with strong oak flavor. And the popularity of elegant, delicate wines with nuance is growing significantly these years. The Japanese is also quite receptive of new regions and wine grape varieties. And sommeliers who have influence on the market are trend sensitive, and we see that many professionals showing interest in Europe wines as an upcoming region. Also, due to the US J.A. that entered force in January 1st, 2020, the phased tariff elimination provides US wine with progressively lower tariff rates until reaching tariff-free status. Certain products, including semi-bulk wine and fortified wines, have become tariff-free this April, and all New York wine products will be tariff-free by 2025, which will help to match leading wine export countries such as the EU and Chile. Again, the harsh competition is a threat because Japan is an attractive market. And the global trend of sober curious in the younger generation is also a threat. However, there are many opportunities based on the strengths of New York wine, and we are confident that by focusing on reaching out to the right target, building long-term relationships with good importers will help to establish an ideal position in the Japanese market. And before we introduce to you this year's activities, I would like to give you a brief recap on the last program year. We had an inbound trip for trade where we invited 2 importers to Finger Lakes and Long Island, an outbound Asia trip, including Tokyo, with a VIP press dinner with producers, and a walk-around tasting for selected professionals with over 50 top wine professionals attending. We also had a webinar with guided tasting for trade, and a webinar with guided tasting for consumers and wine school students organized with a wine school called Fino Terrace. Other activities include updating and managing the Japan microsite because we need more information on New York wines in the Japanese language, and localization and translation of the recently issued wine reference guide, which we just uploaded also on the website these few days. And achievements for the last program year are we have new wineries distributed or to be distributed in the market this year, at least 4 that we are aware of, and 1 new importer which attended the inbound trip, adding New York wines to their portfolio. We had coverage and mention of New York wines as a hot premium cool climate wine region in leading wine alcoholic beverage media. And we were also able to promote more details and characteristics of New York wines compared to the previous year. For example, promoting the diverse grape varieties and wine styles to top professionals at the events, and also to wine lovers and wine school students in this wine school webinar. So for this program year, we plan to have an inbound trip in November. It will be a joint trip with other markets. And we have confirmations from 2 journalists from leading wine magazines in Japan. And we are also planning a walk-around tasting for professionals in Tokyo, and also a webinar with guided tasting co-organized with the wine school and with rebottled wine sets sent to attendees. We will also increase contents on the Japan microsite, which we are working on already. And we are also preparing to apply for support membership of the Japan Sommelier Association to reach out to their audience. Also, since our first year, we have been in close touch with the U.S. Agricultural Trade Office in Tokyo and Osaka. We attend meetings for cooperators and communicate regularly with the trade officers. Last year, all the events we held in Tokyo were granted support by the USDA, meaning that we can put the USD logo in the invitations. And this helps to maximize the importance of the events in Japan for the trade and press. The U.S. Agriculture Trade Office in Japan also holds promotions such as American fairs at retailers, hotels, restaurants, and cafes. It is branded Gochiso USA, which means a feast from USA or Taste of America. And this is especially an opportunity for New York wines already in the Japan market to promote their wines to the consumers. We connect the importers to the retailers or hotels holding such promotions initiated by ATO, and there is a promotions such as advertisement or social media. Last year, there was a wine fair at a national hotel group and also a restaurant promotion for Taste of America that featured US products, including New York wines. Also, we have one sample shipment per year to ship wines from wineries for the events in Japan. The registration close is planned to be October 9th, and registration and details for the shipment will be published as a Bottle Books event within these few days, and we're just working on it right now. And just to share with you some basic information, we will ask you to register 1 or 2 wines, and you can ship up to 6 bottles per SKU. And as there will be some documentation requirements to ship to Japan, BCI is taking care of the communication with the lab and also with Flex International. So maybe I can ask Nigel to help jump in and maybe explain a little bit about it?
Thank you, Kiko. Good morning, everybody. My name is Nigel. I work on the BCI team. So just so you're aware, they didn't mention it, but definitely one of the successes our team at Asahi Agency had last year was they got the Cornell Craft Beverage Analytical Lab added to the official list of labs that can do chemical analysis for imports to Japan, which was a very big deal. So as soon as you register for this shipment, we will send you some instructions on how to register and send in samples for this shipment. And then we'll get a notarized certificate of analysis, which is the important piece of customs documentation that we're going to need in order to get these samples into Japan and to these events. We will have a lot more details, but the main thing I wanted to stress is if you could not delay and get those sent into the Cornell lab as soon as possible, that will really help to make sure that this shipment gets out on time and that everybody's wines are in the market in time for the events. So thank you so much, and hope you guys participate.
Thank you, Nigel. So yeah, we have one question, but I'll finish this up and answer. We'll try to answer that in just a minute. Also for new wineries, we have winery information on our Japan microsite producer page. And for new wineries that have either joined the Japan program or is joining the export program newly, we will reach out to these wineries within this month or next month regarding adding an image and information and representation status in the Japanese language. So for wineries that already have their information on the Western Europe UK microsite, basically we will use that information and translate it to Japanese. For others, we will use images that you update on Bottle Books, and also may ask you for some information to create some text to describe and introduce your winery best to our audience in Japan. Also, we continue to open a help desk for all participating wineries. We would be happy to have talk with new wineries that are just starting the export program or joining the Japan program. And also those who have a little bit of interest and want to learn more about the Japan program. And of course, wineries that continue to participate and that we already are familiar with are always welcome for a chat and text. Also, if you have like any, if you would like to ask any recommendations about what kind of wines you will choose to ship to Japan, of course, you know best what you want to promote, but we can also help in that. So we have a slot open on August 24th, but you're also welcome to send your preferred date or time slots. Other time slots that work other than the morning hours would be like your evening hours if that's better for you. So please contact us anytime by email. Yeah, so I guess that's finished for now, and we have questions on the chat. So yeah, we have a question. What has been the trend growth of New York State wines over the past 5-10 years? That is a difficult, that is a very difficult question maybe to answer. This means in Japan, right? So I think it's just been over 10 years since New York wines have come to Japan, right?
I
Yeah.
think so.
So we're just I guess the market is just recognizing. Unfortunately, we don't see a lot of it on the shelves, and US wines basically is California wines. But yeah, as some of you are aware, one of the importers, the biggest importer for New York wines in Japan, has opened their own shop and bar in Tokyo. It's a little bit in the bed town, but in Tokyo. So that has impact. And also, yeah, even these 2 years since we joined as an InMart representative, we are seeing attention towards New York wine, as Takenori just mentioned in the trend part, especially that I think Japanese professionals like to hear information like generic information and official information shared by organizations such as the New York Wine and Grape Foundation. And we have been able to bring importers to New York last program year, and this year we are having press, so hopefully we will get more attention.
I don't know if I can shed any light on this. I think it's an excellent question, and it's one that we're obviously challenged to get an answer on every year. And this is why being a part of the export program, the reporting that we ask the wineries to do is so important. This year, I think, is the first time, so I'll say this previous year that just ended in June, was the first time that we really got a majority of the wineries giving us or sharing with us their sales data. And in aggregate for Japan for last program year, we recorded $182,275. And that is, definitely, we would love to see more, but it's definitely a start when we were not getting a lot of self-reports previous to this. So I wanted to give some numbers and let you know that we did not capture all of the data that is out there, but when we send you those forms to fill out, we would love that information so that we can share those trends with you. I didn't know if Tamara had anything else to share. I know we pull some aggregate numbers for our grants every single year, and those are larger numbers, but those are for all of New York wines leaving New York to go to Asia South Pacific. So might not necessarily be completely reflective of the Japan market.
Yeah, Val, that's exactly what I was going to relay as well. We do have some aggregate data that we could share, and I think we have pulled some Japan-specific, I think Sam has done that in the past, Japan-specific data that we can share. But I do think the export survey that we're now instituting as a mandatory requirement for joining the export program is going to be really key in helping us to collect this data more accurately going forward. So at the end of this program year, we would ask all export program wineries to submit their sales data for all the target markets we're active in for that program year. And then we'll be able to cross compare it to previous years. So as we move forward in the future, I think that's going to be a very helpful tool to see growth, hopefully, in all of our markets going forward. So yeah, that we can definitely send you some of the aggregate data that we have so far, but in future years, I think we'll be able to share something more accurate and reflective of what's really happening.
Yeah, thank you, Tamara and Valerie. We also have another question. Thank you for the question. Who is the largest importer of New York wines? I just probably said there is one of the largest importers of New York wine, but this is difficult because we don't know who imports the most in quantity and value. Go-to wines is unmistakably the oldest importer of New York wines, and they started over 10 years ago, I think. I think they carry, they represent over, I think about 10, 11 wineries. Yeah. However, we don't know the volume and the volume and amount of the total. We also have another importer, Norlake, that only imports from one winery, but we also know that they import maybe bigger quantity per item. We also have a new importer that is probably shipping soon, and we heard that it's quite a nice volume order. So yeah, so our goal also is to increase importers in Japan to increase visibility in the market. And of course, each importer has their own characteristics and style. And also they have their own distribution channels. As I mentioned, Go-To Wines has opened their own bar and shop, which is a great channel. However, some of the other importers have good access and great relationship with wholesalers or supermarkets or retail shops, also on and off trade, both. So we can also share more details as far as we know about the importers and about their characteristics, as each wineries has their own their own style, and maybe you want a big company to handle your wines, maybe you want a smaller company, you want importer that handles only your wine, or an importer that carries many New York wines. So we can also kind of give you information on the landscape of the importers in Japan, and hopefully we in the next few years we will also have some more new importers that will import New York wines. So thank you. We have another question. Would New York Wine Grape Foundation consider doing a special promotion of New York wines in the higher end department stores such as Seibu, Isetan, Takashima, and Mitsukoshi? Yes, actually, I think one SKU is sold in Isetan. Maybe the wine
yes,
section.
yeah.
Yes, maybe yes. Seibu is not so big right now. But I understand what you mean. Of course, there are opportunities, but we don't currently initiate any promotions in like department stores, kind of initiated by the foundation. But as I mentioned, sometimes ATO runs such promotions, and so there's a possibility we can participate in those. And also, we also see importers participating in fairs like wine fairs. I think also Isetan has like a world wine fair in upstairs floors every year, and we know that some of the importers attend those. We also have importers attending events in Osaka, the biggest and most luxury department store, Hankyu. So they also have wine events. So there is possibility, and the department stores are always a good retail outlet for premium added wines. Maybe depending on the price range though, because the top wine maybe they have a higher price range, right. Maybe they prefer like higher priced wines than currently distributed in Japan right now, more closer to like the California Napa Valley wines. So okay, so do we have?
I don't see any further questions, Akiko. I know that you had your contact information up there earlier.
Yes.
We will also send out this recording so that people can reach out to Akiko and Takenori, and certainly myself, Tamara and Nigel. And I guess I would just stress that if you are on the line and you have not yet joined the export program and you're kind of still doing your research and due diligence as to whether or not you want to take part in these events this year, now would be the time to sign up. We'll also send you a link in the follow-up email to join, but if you know you want to join, I think I'll just pop the link in there now and try not to just send it to Nigel. And just let us know if you have any questions, and I thank you for joining us, and hopefully we'll see a lot of you on the next couple of these over the next 2 days. Tamara, Nigel, Akiko, Takenori, any further comments, questions?
I would just say that I highly recommend scheduling a one-on-one meeting with Akiko and Beppu-san. So you see that there's an option here, or you can choose a time through Monday through Thursday. It looks like I just think you can ask some really personal questions about your own winery's strategy and maybe what SKUs you should feature and all that. I think they would be an excellent resource for you if you're considering more efforts in the market. And Beppu-san is a highly experienced wine expert in Japan. So I think you can really tap into his wealth of knowledge. And that this is open to all folks who confirm participation in the Japan target market. So once you have registered and paid, you are more than welcome to reach out to this contact. And sorry, Akiko, I think you were going to say a final thing.
Yeah, sorry. I didn't really explain maybe well enough that basically Takenori is our educator, and so for seminars and webinars, he will do the speaking in Japanese, and it is preferred by our audience that, of course, it's always welcome to have people visit for seminars and tastings, but due to limited time and also to convey enough information in Japanese, Takenori is basically our educator. So this year, to improve also our content and also to connect with the wineries, we are also planning to reach out to you, asking you about your wines and like what you would like to share with us if you have the time, what you would like to communicate to the Japanese audience about your wines. Like Japanese really like to hear stories about, your winery, your family, also, of course, why you created this wine, and, how you want, you imagine it to be consumed by people. So we would like to reach out to you when we receive your samples, and when we kind of, figure out where to use which wines. If it's a seminar, we would like to hear from you additional information, and yeah, as I mentioned, stories about the wine, which Takenori will convey to the audience. So of course, this is, if you have the time, if you would like, of course, basically, if Takenori drinks the wine, he can talk about it for a good 5-10 minutes, so you don't need to worry. But we would love to also have you participate in our events, even if it's not actually attending in person. So yeah, we really look forward to meeting you online, or in email and so on. So yeah, thank you for joining today, and yeah, we look forward to a great program year. Thank you.
I do just want to flag there, one more question came through
Okay.
during
There
our
is.
Thank
payroll.
you.
good one.
So for winery already with the distributor in Japan, what is the advantage of joining the program? Oh, of course, we have programs, especially like for seminar webinars with the wine school. We try to introduce wines that are in the market, because the people attending are consumers. So of course, sometimes we introduce wines that are not in the market, but basically we introduce that. So educational things that we can explain in general about New York wines, in addition to explaining the values and characteristics of those specific wines that you already have in the market. We also get, as we mentioned, when we get invitations like from ATO about promotions and so on, we mainly focus on those wineries that are in the export program and in the Japan program. So it will benefit, there will be a benefit for you to be featured in these events, or we can also help yeah, your import, we communicate with your importer to promote your wines also in our events, such as seminars or walk around tastings. So that is the benefit of wines.
Yeah, I would say in all of our target markets, we kind of have this two-pronged strategy. Obviously, for unrepresented wineries, really helping to connect you to importers and to find representation. But once you already do have the wines in the market, we really work to help promote those wines. So I think the Asahi Agency has done a great job with connecting with some of the top wine publications in the Japan market to get wines featured in that way. Another example is we will be bringing in some Japanese media for our November tour later this year, and we only would want to feature wineries that are part of the export program and the agenda for that. And like Akiko said, anytime opportunity comes through to partner with an ATO or other organization, those wineries that are part of the Japan export program are the ones prioritized and featured. You would be part of the Japan microsite. And just our Asahi Agency is a resource for you. So you can schedule a one-on-one meeting with them to talk about ways that you can get your wines more featured, more exposed, get more visibility. So you just kind of have this, built-in support on the ground to help you in addition to your importer. So if you're part of the export program, you get connected to all the ways that we can help. And yeah, hopefully that helps to answer your question. But yeah.
Thank you, Tomorrow. I also wanted to add that if you already have representation in Japan, we were mentioning about the wine shipment. We also put it in the details on bottle books, but we recommend you to send wines that are in Japan or is planned to be imported in the market. You will also have the option to, for your importer to ship the wines to us domestically, so you don't have to ship it or go through the analysis additionally in New York. So that information will be hopefully shared with you within these few days. Yeah, so any other questions, we will be happy to answer online or through a call anytime. And yeah, thank you so much for all the great questions and your attention.
All right. Thanks everybody for joining. I hope everybody has a lovely day or a good night to those of you in Japan. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you all again soon. Have a great day. Take care.
Great.